Hi, this is Eric. I'm going to go ahead and try FSD beta 12.3.3 for my route home from work. I'm going to try engaging it parked in the parking lot. It says it might be degraded. I think I might have to tell it to go. Let's see, it probably wants me to leave the parking spot. There we go. Yeah. I noticed it has a set speed.
500 feet, turn right onto 35th Street Northeast.
It has a set speed of 16 miles per hour, but it's driving 10. It's in a parking lot. It's maybe reasonable. It's probably a little slow for the time in the parking lot. It didn't go out that way, but that's okay because there's road construction there. We'll see what it does here.
Now turn right onto 35th Street Northeast.
It got out of the parking lot perfectly. I also don't know how much the weather is causing it to slow down. I'll have to try more later with improved weather. You notice it's kind of wet and rainy. It still comes to like the legal stop, like I said, but it's not quite as bad at hesitating afterwards. And it's a little quicker to stop completely.
Avenue Northeast.
Hopefully it gets back over to the right. It did.
Now turn left onto C Avenue Northeast.
See how it does with some four-way stop signs. Stop big music. So it should go. I'm going to tell it to go. It probably would have been fine, but I don't like making other cars wait. As I get more comfortable with it, I'll tell it to wait. Now here's an interesting case. It was a pedestrian walking in the street, and it safely drove around them and gave them plenty of room. Now I don't like to let it experiment there, but I was completely ready to take control. So the Subaru should be able to go first. It did. The car starts going when they're going. That's good. It's a little aggressive. I think the speed limit might be wrong here. Maybe it's a school zone. I'll just let it wait until the speed limit sign and speed up. There's a tricky intersection coming up here. It's a three-way stop sign where the oncoming traffic doesn't have to stop. So I'll try this stop multiple times because one time isn't enough to really know how it behaves. And it shouldn't matter which lane it uses for this. There's a couple straight lines. It's going to use the left lane. Suboptimal for traffic distribution, like getting the most traffic through, but it's fine. It's fine for what for just full self-drive. It did that intersection fine, but there was no traffic either. So I'm curious as if it would have known to stop for the traffic coming towards the car. But I'll drive it more. For those that say that FSD doesn't work in the rain, it does. This is fairly crappy weather. You can tell that stripes are heavily degraded in this weather. Like the lane markings are hardly visible in many situations. Not sure if it's just passing or if it's moving over to the right lane. The problematic intersection is coming up in about 2 miles though, and I'll have to force it to the left lane in that case if it stays in this right lane. Plus side is this problematic intersection won't exist in about a year. They're putting in a roundabout, so my problem will be fixed in about a year, but until then it's a problem. Try to tell it to use the other lane here and see what happens. It's not going to listen. I'm going to force it over and see if it stays. But the car likes to use one lane. So now let's see if it stays. I want to make sure no cars are behind me, and then I'm going to say minimal lane changes. That's an experiment. No car doesn't want to stay there, so I have to manually drive here because the car will fail. Like I said, I think it thinks this right turn lane goes all the way through, but it doesn't. It drops down to 2 lanes and then returns back to before the turn. So yesterday it drove onto that median there, shoulder. As you can see, all the construction here, they're putting in a new road and adding a roundabout here.
Turn right onto East Robbins Road.
Looks like they're already starting to landscape for it, or like level the ground for it. I'm gonna tell it to go here. It would have been fine, but I didn't want to wait for the traffic. We still have the issue at corner cases with full self-driving, and until they can solve those, you can't have a robo-taxi. But I'll still really love the, using the feature now. It's much, much better than it was before. I wish they would bring back rolling through stop signs. And it's not because of a legal thing, it's just more natural because 99% of the traffic around here rolls through the stop sign. Interesting there, it didn't slow down for the new speed for quite a while. I think that's been a case for FSD for a while ago. I don't think that's new. And I think maybe they do that to prevent it from phantom braking. This is a good example for this left turn coming up though, because there's going to be a lot more traffic today than there was on Easter Sunday.
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto Alburnett Road.
So I've done a couple overrides of FSD today, but only the one is really kind of a dangerous one where it's in the wrong lane and other traffic around me will behave incorrectly, probably in that situation.
Now turn left onto Alburnett Road.
And I need to try it when the visibility is better, because the lane markings might work better. Or might show up better for the car. Part of the problem is the bad lane markings, but there's nothing I can do about that. And as a human, I have to be able to handle those to some extent. So let's see where it stops. It stopped at the line, which is good. It can go, but it decided not to. I'm going to tell it to go because I don't want to wait on it. There was oncoming cars, but they were turning. If there wasn't a car behind me, I would have waited to see what the car did. Probably would have waited for all of the cars to go by. Many humans would in that case too.
In 500 feet, enter the roundabout.
Again, it handled the intersection fine. It didn't stop and creep forward over the line and scare me like it does a lot of the time.
And take the first exit.
So mostly smooth drive on the FSD. Again, I'll have to override it if it's yellow light most likely. Sometimes it'll see it as yellow and go, and other times it sees it as red and stops.
Now turn left onto Irish Drive.
It's definitely seeing it as red, or turning red. You notice it told me to take over because it thought I was running a red light. I'm going to disengage it. Autopilot, or FSD, doesn't turn left at a flashing yellow light. So, nice. Still a couple disengagements, but even though that I had those disengagements, I feel so much better using it that I'll actually use the software now. Before, I wouldn't even use it. I would use it like 2 or 3 times and then just stop using it each time a new version update
In 500 feet, turn left onto